Hey guys, it's me Chandra again, and today I will do the preparation guide for Lyney. So Lyney will be the first spontaneous character that will come as a 5-star, and we will talk as usual like how the kit is works, what is good or not, is it looking promising or not, talking about the build, and in the end I will talk about a little bit such things about Lyney. You may believe me or not, it's up to you. So let's get started. As usual in my tradition, we always read for the first sentence of the character, so we actually kind of know what actually Hoyo first want to do with this character though. So for the Lyney, they say Lyney is a pyro damage dealer who deals damage using simply magical attacks. Basically, Hoyo first want us to use Lyney as a basically such as main DPS, pure main DPS. That of course he's magician. So that's actually we already know that what Hoyo first want us to play though as a main DPS pyro. And here's the material basically of usual the pyro one for material. I don't know, this is brand new and this is kinda still haven't revealed. And this one Insignia isn't of course the talent for Ornir Fontaine, and this one the boss that we will fight in Nahida story quest though. Okay, now we move to the main course, which is the talent itself. We will start for normal attack. Basically this is just normal attack, nothing special. And this is one of the main gimmick from Line itself, the charge attack. In here, basically, you see from animation, it's kind of have charge shot, so similar kind of Ganyu or Tinari like that. So they need someone something like a small cat like that from the head, something like that. So yeah, that's the main gimmick. So in here, it has basically two different charge. The level charge is just like infused pyro, same like other pyro character, but the level 2, it will fire off the prop arrow and dealing pyro damage upon hit, it will summon the Grim Malkin cat. So yeah. This one that you will see, they have the head that the level charge shot though, so take note of that. And reading further, when you fire in this prop arrow, the second charge attack, you will, if your line have more than 60% of HP, he will consume of HP to obtain one prop surplus stack. This one I will explain later on the talent itself. They will explain. So basically, this is useful also for line damage. So we will say that when you use level 2 charge of your bow in here, you will consume of your HP. So similar like Huta when you use skill, it will consume HP. Yeah, same. But this one, you trigger through your charge level 2 though. So after that, you will kinda summon the cat and you get this 1 stack, and then you can get up to 5 stack, and then effect will remove after 30 seconds though. So take note of that. And I want to talk what actually the cat usefulness. Basically the cat is quite useful to give you additional damage. So in here also it has another effect which is can taunt enemy, and this is also they will instead say like how many HP in here it actually from Lyney max HP. So if it's destroy, it will fire the pirate technique strike at one nearby opponent. So you see this cat after it explode, it will hit another enemy. So when you do the level 2 charge shot, you deal the damage plus with this head damage. So it's pretty good though. So it has kind of follow up damage. And take notes, the head it can only exist one at a given time. So only one, you cannot trigger like 2 or 3. And now we will talk about the elemental skill, but they never state in here. I wonder why, but this is the elemental skill for sure. And then in here they say Lyney does flourish with his head, unleashing the fireworks surprise. When we use, he will clear all the prop surplus stacks and deal AoE pyro damage to the opponent in front of him though. Damage will increase according to the stack clear, and this will be regenerate HP from his max HP. So basically in here they say when you use your skill, it will consume your stack that you get from this charge attack. See, when you use charge attack, you will get one prop surplus. So when you keep doing charge attack probably until 5 times at the max, and you get the max stack, and you use skill, you will get additional damage from this skill, and then later you will regenerate your HP. See? You see, when you explode, you get also HP. So actually, it's similar like Hutao, but instead from the elemental burst that will recover your HP, this is from the skill itself though. So basically, they kind of want us to do charge attack first, getting the stacks, and then we use skill, and then we can recover our HP back though. So you will never do skill and charge attack, because you will not regain your HP, you will not get damage increase from your stack. So take notes from that though. They already kind of teach us how to play. And in here actually have another like continuation gimmick, which is this is actually the one that we want always to trigger. So when you summon the head that you get from the charge attack, when you use skill, it also explode everything at once though. So it will explode instantly. So Also, the damage deal through the gimmick cat also considers a charge attack though. So basically, it just explodes everything from your head and including the skill, the stack. And because of that, that makes more reason for you to just start with charge attack so you can summon the cat and you get the stack and just finish everything at skill at once though, and everything just bang. Now let's talk about Lyney Elemental Burst. So Lyney Elemental Burst works, it's very similar like Yelan. So in here, after you use burst, you can mark the enemy first. When you are done, you can explode, bang. So similar like Yelan. So after you tangle or enemy, if you feel finished, you can just end, right? So it also states in here that you can actively cancel, so it's very similar like Yelan elemental skill, but this one instead is burst though. And in here also, you can summon one Grimmel Malkin head, so you can see the head that show after the end, you can see here, and you will get also one prop surplus stack. So it's pretty convenient. So from we read through all the entire kit in here, that I think the simple combo that want us to do is that we do burst first so we can get this head and one prop surplus stack, and then we can do another like at the max 4 charge attack, and then we get the full stack and we can end with elemental skill and everything explode in here. So that's pretty much how kind of simple combo that you want us to play. So start with the elemental burst and then charge attack and then skill. So pretty similar like Alhaitham though, we start from the burst. And lastly, this is Ragining Usia and Pneuma. If you're still kind of confused by this is brand new gimmick that we'll introduce in Fontaine area and Fontaine enemy, and it can only trigger on Fontaine character though. So other from until Sumeru, they will not have this gimmick though. So for Lyney will get the Pneuma gimmick, which is you see later the transparent arrow. Yeah, that's the Pneuma trigger, and here you see when you trigger it stun the enemies. Usually this effect will kinda buff Lyney or kinda stun the enemy. It give advantage for the Fontaine in here though. So yeah, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but yeah, this is additional stuff for Fontaine character. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Lyney kits. I think Lyney kit is pretty simple, and yet I feel it's quite refreshing, I'll to say. Although you can feel it's only kind of mix the character kit from Yelan, Ganyu, and Hutao, but it feels still fresh though. I feel Lyney is pretty interesting, surprisingly. Although I don't really like the sound, but I feel his kit is usually pretty interesting though. And we can see from the weapon itself, the weapon tail kinda he has the incentive to become mono pyro, and also for the different element though, because this bow is basically cover like if you have same element or not. So I think it's a good idea to give like both like incentive in mono pyro and non-mono pyro, which is probably vaporize or melt, something like that. I think this is one of the good approach to making kit, not same like Lino, like Nilo, where you only like focus on bloom and that's it, you don't get any like kind of incentive outside of bloom. But this one they kind of probably want to give incentive on Lyney both on the mono pyro and non-mono pyro, I think. So it's pretty good though, I think, to play Lyney. It's pretty feels like you can choose your path, so which one that you want. And if you ask me is he strong or not, it's very hard for me to say if I just stay pure like this. So I have to touch a little bit in beta and data man. So if you don't want to hear any spoiler, something like close your ear. But I also say according to his number from my IC until the end of the beta, at least until right now, if they didn't want to change until the final release, and he's actually pretty good. In fact, I would say he's not bad. Around Ayato level you can expect at least, or even more. But I don't think super like Hutao, but you can expect around like those like Ayato style of level though. And in fact that I would to say with this kind of condition of kits, Lyney still advantage a lot in both single target and AoE, because if you compare to Yoimiya is pure single target but very good, but Lyney in here I think he can even cover AoE and single target, which means it's already one of advantage that Lyney win from Yoimiya, which is the flexibility in terms of like variation of the enemy or bosses that Lyney already win in here. So that's a little bit a good thing. Overall to say, Lyney still pretty looks positive until right now though. And now we move to the guide section, and let's start with the weapon first. And for the 5-star weapon, the best one of course is the first grade magic, because that's the signature weapon from the Lyney itself. And of course it looks good, it gives you critical damage, attack increase, there's a gimmick that increase your another attack and speed. It's basically just good for Lyney, looks like, and I think it will be signature weapon, and it's signature weapon anyway, right? So it's for sure it will be the best. And also the second one thing will be good is Aqua Simulacra. It gives you critical damage, so same with the signature weapon. And the effect also pretty much good in general, increase your damage, so that's pretty much good. And also another one option is Polar Star, but take notes, we don't need so much crit rate later in Lyney, just because later I will talk in the artifact section. But if you get not so much crit rate, then this is actually a pretty good weapon, Polar Star, because it increases your elemental skill and burst, and yeah, give you normal charge attack increase, pretty much good. Other than that, Thundering Pulse also solid choice. Critical damage as a substats, pretty much good. Increase your attack further, it's actually pretty good. And elemental skill, it's very good. Other than that, if you don't get too much critical rate, Hunter's Pet still a good option also. Increase your elemental damage, pretty much good. And I think for the standard, both of them is actually good also. Scour Hub also good. If you don't get too much crit rate, it's still good. Increase your crit damage, get another physical damage. Amos Bow, if you don't have other bow, actually Amos Bow is still pretty much okay because it gives you attack percentage and increase your normal charge attack. It's still pretty much solid. So yeah, I think the best one, of course, signature weapon, and second I prefer Aqua Simulacra in the end. But overall, all of them is pretty much good except Elegy, because Elegy is only super energy recharge, and I don't think Lyney will need energy recharge. So I feel like most of the 5-star weapon in Lyney will work. So that's a good news. And for the 4-star weapon for Lyney, I don't think we have so much 4-star weapon for Lyney. Basically, I think the best one is same like Ganyu, which is Prototype Crescent, just because it gives you attack. When you hit the charge attack and hit the weak point, you will get another attack further. I think this is just good effect in general, and I think Lyney also will get advantage. So I think this is the best one for the 4-star. Other than that, the one that also can craft, which is Hamayumi, but this one will make whole your rotation is different. Assuming you want to play the one that you kinda intend start with the burst, then this is very hard to trigger. Just because you always start with burst, that means you will never get this effect. So because of that, you need to change your rotation, change your playstyle, which is I don't really recommend, because both of them is craftable. Why you want to craft this, just craft this one for Lyney. And yeah, I think another one that you can utilize, this one from the shop, the Style Greater shop or whatever shop, which is the Black Cliff Warbow. This is pretty good also because it gives you critical damage. After defeating enemy, you will get attack increase. That's pretty solid, but it's not really super free to play. Other than that, also if you pay Battle Pass, I think this is pretty much solid. Assuming you don't have too much critical rate for Lyney, then yeah, because we will get a little bit crowd control and get a little bit attack from the Cyclone, like the physical attack, which is pretty much good though. And yeah, I think that's the only weapon that work for Lyney, but at least this is something that you can use for Lyney for the first weapon. And now we move to the artifact section, and the best artifact sets for Lyney basically it's haven't announced, it's haven't come out yet, but it's already announced, and it's very hard to pronounce. I'm sorry if it's wrong. It's called Marcus Hunter, I think, I don't know. And it's so good just because 2 piece gives you normal and charge attack by 15%. Basically lining it for charge attack, and 4 piece, when your current HP is increased or decreased, your crit rate will increase by 12% for 5 seconds and max 3 stacks though. That means we can get 36 critical rate. That's huge though. And in here, that's why I say you don't need so much critical rate later though, because at the max we only need around 30 critical rate and you're done. And if you equip critical rate weapon, that means you only need around like what, 10% in your substat. So basically your circle is never critical rate, always critical damage, how whatever it is though, if you equip these artifact sets though, just because it's already so good in terms of critical rate though. So that's why it's very good in here, this creative, like these artifact sets, that you can kind of just like go all out in critical damage and very small on critical rate in your artifact sets though. And other than that, you can equip for if you want to become mono pyro, then for sure, I don't even know if I still have the one which is Lava Walker. I think this is really work if it's you want to play in a mono pyro. Other than that, if you want to play kind of vaporize, melt or whatever, and classic like Crimson Witch of Flame 4 piece. Also 4 piece of Wanderer Troop also can in general. The 2 piece increase autometry, and 4 piece will increase the charge attack by 25%. This is mainly the 4 piece that we want to utilize, but of course the Hunter one, that will be the best compared to Wanderer's Troop. And lastly, you can equip also Semi-Hour Ammunition. This is also pretty solid for Lyney just because it gives you attack percentage, and it also will buff your charge attack for your Lyney. But take note in here, probably you need a little bit more energy recharge, just because on some condition, if you have full like more than 15 energy, your energy will lose to sacrifice for your buff. So it might be not really so comfy for you, but this still works though. And of course, you always have alternative sets. If you cannot get the four sets, you can just do two piece, let's say either from Simeonao and Gladiator, or later you already have a little bit the Hunter one, the new artifact set, and then you can mix with the neither Gladiator or Simeonawa, or you can even mix between probably like Crimson Witch with Simeonawa or Gladiator, something like that. And for the artifact main sets, basically it's very straightforward though for Liney, because I don't think he has any like HP scaling or whatever, so it's everything just pure main DPS like build though, which is in the sense is attack percentage, for the goblet for sure pyro damage bonus, and for the shieldlet it actually depends if you need crit rate or crit damage. If you need whatever, then equip according to what you need though. But usually if you already equip the new hunter artifact sets, you always just want critical damage. And now for artifact set, basically it's just very straightforward. The one you should protest is either crit damage or crit rate, and afterward is energy recharge, and the last one is attack percentage though. Alright, now we move to the last section, which is about the team comp itself though. So for team comp for Liney, I will give like different option. The one you can use like for mono pyro, the one that you can use vaporize or melt. But basically for charge attacker, they don't have so much like variation, same like Ganyu though, but at least it's more variative than Elo. So let's start first with the one at mono pyro. So if you want to play mono pyro in Liney, that means the just pretend this is Lyney, okay? So Lyney, Kazuha, Xiangling, and Bennett. I think this is very solid mono pyro, just because like Kazuha and Xiangling, Bennett, they are all of them a very good character. Basically, these three can carry Lyney so like so very goodly, and like Lyney, if Lyney turn out to be very good, then also this team is actually very solid for especially the mono pyro, just because you will get like infinity pyro, I guess, because a lot of pyro application in here. And then the next one, if you feel it's too offensive, then you might die. You can put like some resistant interruption and defensive option, which is Zhongli in here. But if you don't feel like want to use Zhongli and just want to go all mono pyro, you have another option that people don't forget about Dia. So you can put Dia finally beside Ganyu, then finally Liney can make Dia actually can work though. Um, but just take notes, like Dia is a little bit worse, not a little bit, it's worse than Zhongli in terms of defensive, so you have to be a little bit careful with your like charge timing though, because you cannot like as comfy as Zhongli though. So if you want more comfy, Zhongli, but if you want to be just like more offensive, then put Dia though in here. And then yeah, still Xiangling Bennett. And now we move into another section, which is Vaporize. So if you want to do like Vaporize for charge attacker, it's we don't have a very solid hydro, so the one that can only substitute which is Mona in here, and the one that can extend through Kazuha's world, so and the burst itself though. So yeah, this team can work, but if you don't have Mona, actually Kokomi still works, just because the elemental skill also can do the what is similar like Mona did from the elemental skill. I just put Mona in here also just because the burst also more offensive. But other than that, yeah, they're still pretty much good though. Mona and Kokomi and Bennett still as always. And for the melt, it's also not so much, only like this time. Like similar like Liney, Kazuha, and Ganyu in here, you can utilize the burst. So you just make your Ganyu build as a burst like spammer, so you can equip probably like an emblem. It also can work for your Liney team in melt. But other than that, you can use like Rosaria or Chongyun still okay, but I still prefer like Ganyu, just because the field is kind of bigger. But if you don't have Ganyu, then sure you still can use Rosario or Chongyun. And that's pretty much the shit to the team that I can recommend for Liney though. So that's pretty much the shit to for Liney preparation guide. And I told you before I will share a little bit the sus thing about Liney, and I will tell everything that I know about Liney. Don't ask me where I know. But Line is surprisingly strong, and for the best output is of course to equip with his signature weapon, because his signature weapon actually make him outstanding though. But if you want to equip, let's say kind of almost bow, it's still okay, but you can feel there's a noticeable difference. So yeah, take note in that. So Liney with signature weapon is very recommended. No need consolation, you don't need consolation. And also, like, if you want to know what the best way to play Liney, of course in the mono pyro, because in mono pyro he's really standing out, because later they will a passive that they you will soon see when it release that state, when if he in the mono pyro he will get incentive though. That's why very recommended to play in the mono pyro. But if you decide to play in let's say Vaporize or Melt, it also can work. It's just like only as strong as mono pyro. So that means why you want to play Vaporize and Melt, and you can just play in mono pyro and you don't really have to care about reaction though. So less work, right? Just play mono pyro though, so at the best though. And regarding do he need resistant interruption? If you bet at dodging, then you may need resistant interruption, at least Dia, or for the best, of course, Zhongli. But Dia over more offensive, just because his charge is not as fast as Tinari. Is It's faster than Ganyu, but not faster than Tinari. So it's kind of in the middle. So you kind of want a little bit resistant interruption for if you want the confidence. But of course, if you can dodge, doesn't matter though. And regarding for the level power that I already stated before, that he's around Ayato level, but can be better on some like of course situation. And of course, it's not as strong as Wutao, of course. I think the best judgment I have to say is close to Alhaitham. And also, if you like to see like high damage number at once, or you like to see like high damage per screenshot, then you probably will like Lyney though. But this doesn't have any relation with how strong they are, because even Dia can deal high like 1 million damage per screenshot, but doesn't mean that Dia is good though. So this is just like for your satisfaction in your eye though. So if you like to see high number at once, then you probably like Lyney, just because most of his hit from charge shot, skill, and burst, it can easily get like from 70k to 100k with signature weapon though, easily though. And if you have like better artifact, you can even hit even more than 100k. And that's the thing, you probably will like it, because it's very different than Dendro like Nahida or Alhaitham, where they're actually stronger than Lyney, but most of their number is scattered, right, from 20k 30k, but it's just like scattered everywhere. But this one, Lyney, they don't perform so much hit, but once he's hit, it's kind of high, 70k 100k, something like that. So if you like to see like big number at once, then you probably like Lyney also. And lastly, if you kind of wonder for Spiral Abyss, basically in 4.0 we will have the Fontaine mechanic, which is the Ocean Pneuma in Spiral Abyss. So having Lyney is also another huge advantage. He's already actually strong, and then with the Uza Pneuma, Lyney can get also even buff and can even stun couple of the enemy if they decide to continue this Uza and Pneuma until like the rest of the Fontaine kinda patch. Then you can expect Lyney is pretty much kinda have a future for the 4.0 series at least though. So in the end, yeah, I would say if you aim to pull for Lyney, you should be happy though, because he seems pretty solid as a character, I would say. And although probably he's not winning in terms of design, his entire kit and power actually pretty interesting though. So in the end, yeah, it's a good news though. So yeah, if you like this kind of video, feel free to hit subscribe button and a like, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.